defining tourism. What are we talking about? And we're talking about people who go to a country for leisure purposes, but it also includes business tourism. Now, business people visiting the country for a specific reason, either for pure business reasons or for conferences. That makes up the tourism sector. Obviously, before the early 1990s, because the country was isolated in so many ways, tourism wasn't a big thing. Not many people came to the country, although it was a very attractive place. For political, social reasons, not much happened. That's all changed since then, and we now receive millions of tourists a year. Together, they probably contribute close to 10% of the country's GDP, which is a substantial portion. By comparison, our primary sector, which is mining and agriculture, accounts for about 10% of the economy. So we can say that our tourism economy is more or less the same size as our mining and agriculture economy, to give it some perspective. Having said that, we probably are still underutilizing our tourism potential. One would like to think that even more tourists will come to the country. What might be deterring some of them, of course, is distance. Your European tourist, American tourist, even Oriental tourist. It's quite a long haul to get here. Once they are here, I'm sure they get good value for money. But getting here is rather expensive. I think it's important we do not become complacent in our tourism sector and just assume because the rand is nice and weak, it makes tourism attractive. Tourists are discerning. They're looking for good value, looking for good service. They take that for granted. So, for the so-called MICE sector, which focuses on, if you like, business tourism, meetings, conferences, exhibitions, and the like. So we are still a very sought-after destination, but they, of course, in particular, looking for good value for money. I think another area where we are showing some interesting things, and or should be showing some interesting things, is the field of medical tourism, whereby foreigners, be it in Europe, come to this country for medical procedures. They get a good service, it's fairly cheap, they can spend a few weeks recuperating, and it turns out to be cheaper than the same operation back home. What we also note, of course, is the demographic profile of tourists is and will be changing. A large proportion of tourists seem to be fairly advanced in age. We're looking here at a kind of the baby boomers of this world who retired. They're still fairly healthy. They want to see things. They want to see new things. They've probably seen quite a few museums and art galleries in their lives. They're now looking for a kind of a eco experience. And likewise, one would like to see a growth in what we could call academic tourism, whereby students, either individually or collectively, from all over the world, spend some of their academic course, whether it be a week or 2 or 3, in South Africa. We've got good universities, good business schools. There's no reason why they shouldn't learn from us, and not just us learn from them. And we see signs of that, for instance, at Stellenbosch Business School, where more than just a handful of business schools from all over the world visit us for a week or 2 or 3 to learn about the South African experience and at the same time get a good academic grounding in various disciplines. They may range from Europe, Holland, Belgium, Ukraine, America, all over the world. We find these visitors. For many people from abroad, our unique challenges, our unique composition in South Africa is something they never come across. The well-known, what we find unfortunate, but you can still learn from it, is the well-known story of inequality and poverty and unemployment. For many people from abroad, these are things they're not aware of or never come across. And in our current almost mental psychosis in this country of a bit of negativism, it's interesting how they see things differently, and they see a country with a lot of spirit, a lot of vitality, a lot of excitement. And they learn from that and they go back. revitalized about the world and its problems. So I think academic tourism is something we can really start expanding in the country. South Africa has its problems, its uniqueness, but in that uniqueness lies lots of challenges as well as opportunities. We are in some ways a unique paradox as a country. We fare exceptionally well in some areas and awfully badly in other areas. And in some ways that paradox does present lots of opportunity, business opportunities, excitement. We have the ability in the years that lie ahead to meet the growing demand for goods and services from a growing number of middle-income consumers. Many other poor countries don't have that ability. The demand might be there. They haven't got the infrastructure, the financial infrastructure to meet that demand. We've got a young population, a growing population, an urbanizing population, a growing demand, as I said, for goods and services, and that should help us to grow in the future. So foreigners also note this, they take note of this, and they start looking for opportunities. And I'm pretty sure that as the years go by, more and more of our visiting students might make their way back to South Africa in an attempt to meet some of these opportunities. So this combination of having elements of a developed country and a developing country makes us, if not unique in the world, certainly rare in the world. And that's where the potential excitement and vitality and opportunities lie, in merging, in marrying those two worlds in South Africa. Of course, there are lots of problems. We all know there are structural problems. But from a business point of view, lots of business opportunities. Young people might not all be well educated, doesn't mean to say they're not intelligent. They embrace social media. They embrace the idea of entrepreneurism. They want to be successful. And as they urbanize, they are starting to try very hard to produce something. Could be a good, could be a service. They're trying to be active participants in the economy. And this augurs well for the future of the country, and then again offers opportunities for non-South Africans to become involved in some way. So these same characteristics are reflected in the tourism experience for a foreigner. You've got the waterfront, the lapse of luxury, absolute opulence. You've got the township experience not far away. You've got Table Mountain, the 8th wonder of the world. Moving further away from Cape Town, you've got game reserves, you've got changing vegetation, you've got subtropical areas, you've got Mediterranean areas. You've got in one country a vast, diverse range of experiences. I think it's important to again note that we should not become complacent. And we've got to make sure that we offer for tourists not only these wonderful attractions, but a good experience in terms of value for money, their perceived safety and security. To make sure that doesn't perceive to be a threat or come under threat. We're not the only players in this industry. We're one of hundreds or dozens of players. And that, again, I think to end off, we've done exceptionally well in tourism. We're nowhere near reaching, I believe, our full tourism potential. This could become, as it is doing so in many parts of the world, if not the most important, but a major value creator and job creator.